Starting at the top, we've got the brand new Chameleon Lucid-X Justice. The purple on the left. Second row is the first run of the stock stamp Justices from a couple years ago. Pink one on the right, second row, is the current run of Justices. Bottom left, we've got the soft Justice. And then the blue huck die, we've got the original run of Ring of Gators, Gator. And then just a factory second orange huck dyed, slightly domey Gator. Similar to what you'd see on a current CFR or TFR run. The Lucid-X Chameleon Justice is really flat. It's got a nice firm plate to it. It's got a little bit of a bubble on the middle of it where there's a slight dome, but it is still extremely flat. And as you shift it and turn it in this light, it ends up changing colors. So I threw it first a little bit nose up, but relatively flat into a headwind. It ended up dumping out instantly, ended up way to the left. This is one of the some of the first of the production runs Justices from a few years ago at GBO, and that one was actually pretty similar to the Lucid-X in stability. The current run, not quite as stable as the first two that we threw. It actually ended up going the furthest of the six. The soft Justice ended up being a little bit of an early release there, but it turned out to be the most stable of all the six that we ended up throwing. The Ring of Gators was one of the first runs of the Ring of Gators. It fought out nicely, a little bit of an early release. And this just slightly domey Champ Gator, just a normal run-of-the-mill, ended up gliding a little bit more and fought to the left. And way a nice low flat release, and barely thought about it. Solid 25 to 30 mile an hour headwind straight in our faces, so perfect win for the Justice. That one held straight for like 20 feet. Not bad. Softy. That thing's almost as beefy as the original. I think it's the beefiest, to be honest. The soft beats the X? What? More height, that would actually want to finish for sure.
Didn't throw very well.
Nope.
They all seem about the same.
The wind is not affecting any of them too much.
No.
Maybe a little straighter flight path,
It's
but
just because they're so stable. You know, normally something a little more glide. Get on that anhyzer, once it starts hyzering out, that wind will pick it up and dump it left. But these are so stable by the time they get out of anhyzer, there's not enough forward momentum left in the disc.
there's nothing left.
It dies. Strictly utility.
These guys were probably the lower releases, but they went furthest, really. They got under the wind.
Yes, you gotta. When a breeze like this, you gotta throw a low.
A breeze? A breeze? And a softy. Surprisingly, the soft and the Lucid-X seem to be.
It's like if you liked the stability of the soft, but just don't like that soft plastic, just understandable. Lucid-X is a good option. But I mean, 3 glides are not too far off.
The OG Firebird, or the OG.
You're kind of splitting hairs with Justices.
And at what point does it really matter for most of people's arm speed?
it's kind of just showing, you know, why spend $100 on a pretty disc when you're really just gonna get by with anything.
Did you really pay $100 for your disc?
No, I did not. There it is. Is it a tree? No.
Shorter. That one wasn't quite as much anhyzer. All right, Cash's turn. Big anhyzers, let's go. Nope. Still crashed. Another one that thought about it for a second.
It's just the no glide.
Yeah, wind got under. Little nose up. Still no problem fighting back though.
I don't know, man. That soft is beef.
That soft seems to be almost the most stable of the bunch.
But yet again, I guess we haven't had really a good fire on it, but it's probably because of the bendy plastic.
Yeah, true.
Hard to get
More touchy.
Yeah, hard to get that consistent when it's hot going out of your hand.
Still haven't gotten one close to the road.
I think the first one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That one held the ante more than most of them, but
Yeah.
I mean, 3/4 of the way through, it was already starting to dive left.
Yep.
Not much chance to hyzer when it was a little low, but still worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
So overall, we were talking about how even the pros probably aren't going to, I mean, the way the pros throw it versus the way the casual player is going to throw, there probably isn't a ton of difference.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to, it's pick your brand at this point in the feel of the plastic or aesthetics, whatever, what have you.
Yeah, I mean,
Lucid-X Justice is beautiful, obviously. That chameleon plastic is awesome.
it's just once you're at this point of stability, especially with such a short range disc, it's just really preference.
Probably not meant to go much more than 200 feet. So the Gators versus the Justices. What's your verdict?
I think it's probably just a speed thing, because I feel like I was throwing them on just as much anhyzer as the Justices. But the thing is once they got to that apex of that flight, they just died. They just went straight down. So that's why they ended up a little bit more right than the Justices, just because it's probably the speed difference, just one speed. But you know, with these, once they at least had the chance to fight out of it with that speed difference and then dump left. I mean, not considerably more left than the Gators, but
They were all within like a 30-foot circle of each other, so there's not much difference of where they landed anyway.
But you know, that's also comparable. You know, if we were throwing, say, the Gator compared to like a 6 or a 7 speed in the same stability, you'd see even more heightened difference, just because you know that speed difference is actually going to fight that wind as well.
The glide, a little more glide on the Gators, even that
Yeah.
pancake flat one, it just
Yeah.
held straighter with that little bit extra glide.
I think so.
All utility.
Yeah.